Hi, this is Heather with Affinity for Yarn, and today I want to show you the block stitch. You'll see the block stitch here on a baby blanket I just recently finished. I really love how the white accentuates the blue colors and really makes them pop, and I'm really excited to show you the stitch today. So let's get started. Okay, so for this stitch, you do, and I'm going to zoom in here so you can see a little bit better. Okay, so for this block stitch, you do want to have your foundation chain in a multiple of 4 stitches. So for the example that I'm going to be doing today, I have 16 chains already done. And so to go ahead and get started with row 1, we're going to go ahead and we're going to skip that first chain, and we're going to single crochet into the second chain. So let me get situated. So insert your hook and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through both. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to single crochet across all of row 1 here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to jump to the end. I'm going to come back for the last chain here. I'm going to join you because I'm going to show you how to switch to the next yarn color, because we'll be switching to the next color. So I will join you at the last stitch. Okay, so we are at the last stitch, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to start the single crochet like we normally do. So we're going to insert our hook into the chain and then yarn over and pull up a loop. So you'll have 2 loops on the hook, and now you're going to take your next color, which in my case is going to be the light blue, and you'll see I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail as I join it so that I can make sure I'm able to weave it in. And what you want to do is just lay your yarn over the hook like that and then pull that on through. And then what I do is I just pull on the tails to make sure it tightens the yarn at the end of the row. And so that is row 1, and so now we're going to move on to row 2. Okay, so for row 2, what we're going to do to start out is we're actually going to go and chain 2 right away. So 1, 2, and then what I do is just kind of pull again on those tails. They kind of get a little bit caught up here, just again to make sure it stays tight as we begin to start the row. So I've tightened the tails, and I've chained 2. That chain 2 does not count as the first stitch in the row, so we will be going in and doing a stitch as well into the first stitch of the row here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to double crochet into that first stitch. So you're just going to do a standard double crochet. Okay, just like that. And so that is that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a double crochet in the next 2 stitches as well. My yarn split a little bit, so it took me a minute. All right, so it's 1, and then 2. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And now what we're going to do is, it's a little bit loose. There we go. That looks better. It was a little bit loose on the end. Once I pulled on that tail, it pulled it in. So now we're going to actually start the pattern for the row, which is what you're going to be, the repeat pattern you're going to do across the row. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to chain 1, just like that. And then you're going to skip the next stitch here. So we're going to skip that one. And then we're going to double crochet in the next 3 stitches after that. So skip this one, do a double crochet into the next stitch. So that's 1 double crochet, and then 2 double crochets, and 3 double crochets. Okay, and so that is your pattern repeat for across the row here. And so what you'll see is that chain 1 and that skip 1, really they make a gap there, which is what you want to see. And then you'll see the 3 double crochets. So we're going to repeat that pattern again. We're going to chain 1. We're going to skip that next stitch here, right here, and we're going to double crochet in the stitch after that. So here's 1 double crochet, pull a little bit more yarn out. Okay, and then 2 double crochets, oopsie. And then 3 double crochets. Okay, and so again, you'll see there's the gap right there. So you'll be repeating that across the row, and you'll see here in my example that I'm almost to the end of the row. So I'm going to show you again, we're going to repeat the pattern, and in the last stitch here, we're going to go ahead and change back to your color A, which in my example is going to be the white color. So to finish off the row, we're going to do the chain 1. We're going to skip that first stitch here just like that, and then we're going to double crochet in the last 3 stitches here. So here's 1 double crochet. My yarn keeps splitting on me. Okay. 2. Okay, and then here's the last stitch of the row. So, and I missed a, hang on a minute. Okay, get a little more. There we go. So we do the yarn over and inserting the hook just like we normally do, and then pulling up a loop like you'll see here. We're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Okay, hang on, I lost that. Okay, there we go. So we're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops, and then you'll see we have 2 loops left. So here's where we're going to go back, and we're going to switch back to the white. So it's very similar to when we switched to the color B, or the light blue in my case. We're going to leave the tail for the white like that, and we're just going to lay that over the hook, and then we're going to pull that on through here. So that is color row 2, as you can see, with switching over to the white. So now we're going to do row 3. Okay, so for row 3, again, we just going to pull on our tails to make sure. I turned my work, so you'll see now that we're working in the next direction here. So for row 3, we're going to go ahead and chain 1 just like that, and very similar to row 2, that chain 1 does not count as the first stitch here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to do a single crochet in that first stitch here. So you'll see the gap right next to my finger here. We're going to single crochet in that one, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches after that. So here's 1 and then 2. And so we've done 3 single crochets in the row. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a front post double crochet, but what we're going to do is we're going to do it with the stitch that's 2 rows below. So we're going to be working that front post double crochet into the stitch below here. So to do that, you're going to yarn over, and then you're going to take your hook and you're going to insert it into the row below here. And this is a little bit tricky, especially this first row here. Okay, and then you'll see I inserted it from front to back and brought it back through to the front, and then you yarn over and pull up a loop. So you have 3 loops on the hook. You'll yarn over and pull through 2, and then you'll yarn over and pull through the other 2. And so then that is what that's going to look like then. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start the pattern repeat across the row. To do that, we're going to do the 3 single crochets and then the front post double crochet to the row below. So that's the pattern for the month for this row. So 3 single crochets. So here's 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, and pull a bit more yarn here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do the front post double crochet into the white row, into the white that I have here 2 rows below. So we're going to yarn over. I'm going to go ahead and insert the hook. Yeah, but it's a little bit tricky. Okay, and then we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull up a loop. Okay, there we go. I kind of just straighten it a little bit because you do have to pull a little bit of yarn since you're covering 2 rows. You do want to make sure you have a little bit looser so that it makes sure it doesn't pull really tight on the row, 2 rows below. And so then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops and then pull through the other 2 loops. And again, I'm just going to show you. So that's how it's looking. So it's shaping up across the row. So let's do 3 single crochets again. So here's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then we're going to do the front post double crochet again 2 rows below. So insert your hook from front to back to the front here. Okay, and then yarn over and pull up a loop. And again, we're going to pull this a little bit more because again, we're working with 2 rows. So you just want to make sure you don't pull it too tight here. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the other 2 loops. And again, I'm coming to the end of my row here. So for me, again, I'm going to follow with the 3 single crochets, but in the last single crochet, we're going to go ahead and we're going to change to color C, which in my example is going to be the dark blue. So let's do 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and then 3 single crochets. Okay, so I inserted my hook and pulled up a loop, so I got 2 loops on my hook. And now I'm going to go ahead and grab my dark blue yarn here. And again, leaving a tail so that I can weave it in. And I'm just going to lay my hook yarn over the hook and then just pull through like that. And so then that completes row 3. And I'm just going to slide this over so you can see a little bit better. Row 3 of the pattern. So let's start with row 4. Okay, so for row 4, I went ahead and I turned my work. I went ahead also and just pulled tight on my loose ends here so that it stays tight. I'm going to make sure it gets in the camera here. Sorry about that. So pulling it tight. So now for row 4, we're going to go ahead and chain 2. And really row 4 is just going to be like row 2, only we're doing a different color, but it's going to be the same pattern. So we're going to chain 2, and that chain 2 does not count as the first stitch. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to double crochet into the first stitch. So to do that, we'll just yarn over and then we'll insert our hook in that first stitch here and then complete the double crochet. And there we go. Okay, so that's one. And again, I'm pulling my tails a little bit tighter just because it does come loose until you weave these in, especially depending on how long of tails you have. I have one that's a little bit shorter, so it keeps coming a little bit looser. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we did that first double crochet. Now we're going to do 2 more double crochets in each of the next stitches. So let's do those. Okay. So that's the second double crochet right here. So I completed that. So it's 3 double crochets. Now, similar to row 2, we're going to do the chain 1. We're going to skip a stitch and then do 3 double crochets. So you'll be following the light blue pattern here. You'll be following that pattern with row 4. So we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip this next stitch here, and then we're going to do double crochets in each of the next 3 stitches. So here's 1 double crochet. And here's, nope, hang on a minute. No, there we go. 2 double crochets and 3 double crochets. Okay. And now you'll see, similar to the blue, we have that gap that we had before. You'll see actually with the blue, because of the front post double crochet we did with the white, it actually fills the gap up, which is how it's supposed to be. So it's really, once you get the hang of it, it really kind of comes together and you can see, you know, the gap, what the reasoning is for that. It's to show the white, and yeah, so it's a really cool pattern. Okay, so I've done 3 double crochets. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to skip a chain, or excuse me, chain 1. We're going to skip a stitch, so skip that next stitch, and then double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So here's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, a little bit more yarn out here, and 3 double crochets. Okay, so that's how that looks. And now I'm coming to the end of my row, so we're going to just continue that pattern till the end. And again, we're switching back to color A in the last stitch of the row here. So we're going to chain 1, we're going to skip the next stitch, and then we're going to do 3 double crochets. But in the last double crochet, I'm going to be changing over back to my color A. In my case, it's the white color. Right, so I'm going to insert my hook. I'm going to pull up a loop. So I have 3 loops on the hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2. And now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab my white yarn. Oops, wrong tail here. Okay, so grab my white yarn, lay the yarn inside there, and then pull it on through. Okay, and so that completes row 4 of the pattern. So you'll see that here. So let's go ahead and do row 5. Okay, so for row 5, I went ahead and I turned my work. I'm pulling my tails tight again, just like we've done in the rows below. And we're going to chain 1. So row 5 is just like row 3. So this is a 4-row repeat pattern, but the even rows and the odd rows follow each other. So it makes it pretty easy that way. So the chain 1 does not count as the first stitch. So next what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet into that first stitch here. Okay. And then again, I'm going to pull my tails a little bit tighter because once I get that first stitch in there, sometimes it makes it a little bit easier. And then we're going to do single crochets in the next 2 stitches. So 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochets. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do a front post double crochet. But the difference with this row is now that we have the front post double crochet from row 2, we'll be able to, or excuse me, row 3, we'll be able to work off of that. So it makes it much easier. It's just that first row can be a little bit tricky getting it figured out. So to do the front post double crochet, we're going to yarn over. We're going to insert our hook behind that double crochet post from the 2 rows below. And then we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Oops, and then my yarn over came loose. Okay, so similar to what I had called out in row 4, or excuse me, row 3, you don't want to pull your yarn too tight. You want to make sure you have a little bit of some flex so that it doesn't pull the blanket out of shape there. So once you kind of pull it like that, then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. And so then that's how that looks like that. And you'll see it's loose, right? Not pulling on the yarn too much, and then gives a nice shape. So now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat this pattern across the row. We're going to do 3 single crochets and then a front post double crochet. So here's 1 single crochet, 2, whoopsie, sorry about that, my thing is flipping up into the way here, and then 3. Okay, and then after the 3 single crochets, you're going to go ahead and do a front post double crochet. So again, yarn over the hook, and then insert your hook front to back, back to the front here around the post 2 rows below, and then kind of pull up your loop. You're going to have an extra long loop on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through the other 2. Okay, it's 3 single crochets. Okay, and then we're coming back to the front post double crochet. So yarn over and insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the other 2 loops. And now I'm at the end of my row here. So we're just going to finish off with 3 single crochets. And again, we're going to change back in this example to color B, which is the light blue. So I'm going to do 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, oops, and we got a little bit of blue on there. Oh boy, hang on a minute. Just gonna try and get that. I'm gonna actually just do that again to avoid that. There we go. Okay, so I have the 2 loops on the hook, and now I'm gonna grab my blue, light blue or color B yarn, and I'm gonna leave the tail. Just do that, and then pull through. So then that completes row 5 of the block stitch. So like I had mentioned, the row repeats are going to be rows 2, 3, 4, and 5 are what you're going to be repeating throughout the blanket, just changing blanket colors at the end if you choose to do so. So once you get the hang of it, it moves very quickly. And it's a lot of fun. And like I said, I really love how the white really made the other colors pop, but I'd be interested to see using this with a lot of different colors. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more tutorials, and have a great day.